Close the door.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Patriots III, Life, Liberty, Pursuit of Happiness. And here's your hosts, Tim and Tanya. We got Team TNT on tonight. This is amazing.
Woo! We're rocking it.
Yeah, we're definitely going to have some fun. Definitely named tonight's show exactly what it's called, Winging It. Our guest, unfortunately, had to reschedule. Mr. T.O., we're going to definitely have him back next week. So awesome. Definitely stay tuned for that one. I want to give their audience a reminder. This show is not sponsored. This comes out of my own, brought to you by yours truly here, and the great assistance of Miss Tanya here. And there's a couple of other people that are helping out in the background, and they're doing it out of the kindness of their heart, including the graphic that I have presented here. So I definitely want to thank Spitfire for that wonderful graphic. Spitfire's been on the show a few times. I definitely want to give a shout out to Nurse Kimberly Overton of Remnant Healthcare. So it's remnanthealthcare.org. A wonderful, wonderful patriot. I was interviewed by her, and that goes out to AmericaOutloud.news. So I'll put both the link for remnanthealthcare.org into the chat, as well as I'll update the show description a little bit. And I'll actually even post that interview that I was in with Nurse Kimberly Overton on America Out Loud.
You gotta watch it.
Yeah, I listened to it actually. It's an audio.
Oh, that's right. You gotta listen.
yeah. So we had something wonderful lined up with our guest, Mr. T.O., as I call him. But we're gonna do a little something different today. So we're definitely gonna be talking about some of the guests that we have had on our past shows, and some of the content from that. And current events, and but first and foremost, before we get off with all the subjects here, I want to wish all the wonderful moms out there happy Mother's Day. Mother's Day is coming up really soon. Tanya, happy Mother's Day.
Thank you. It should be Happy Mother's. Yes, I'm a mom, and it should be Happy Mother's Month, because man, I'm telling you, being a mom is some hard work, people. We know it.
I salute you.
Yes, happy Mother's Day.
Definitely, absolutely. So what the Patriots III show is all about is life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, and everything thereof. It's a hard fight. These little breaks we have are the pursuit of happiness.
Right.
Actually, we're always seeking, and we try to keep everyone up to date with current events, and we don't do that all the time because there's so much going on in so many different angles. It wasn't long ago we had a guest on, Roland Cerna, and we talked about a lot was going on with the abductions and things like that. And in fact, it was earlier today on my personal Facebook page. I'd reposted something about 37 children found.
Right.
And I'm like, there's a comment that was left underneath it, and the comment was, the video looks sketchy. So I completely agree with that. So thank you to one of my wonderful Patriot friends down in Southern California for posing that question. So it got me curious to look it up, and the first search result said something about misinformation. Now the second result, and I want to put this up on screen, and I'll also put it into the chat, is from the U.S. Marshal Service. And the U.S. Marshal Service actually has exactly what happened. This was on March 9th, so nearly 2 months ago. So the U.S. Marshals partner agencies conduct missing child operation. So Operation Safe Return. It leads to recovery of 37 children. And it actually further reads that throughout the operation, over 50 children aged 14 to 17 were identified as missing within Riverside County, with additional cases located in neighboring regions such as San Bernardino, Orange County, Los Angeles counties, as well as further afield in Northern California, Arizona, and Nevada. So this is definitely some shocking news. And as passed over a video clip not very long ago, thanks to my wonderful co-host here. And so, and it was very interesting on what's said. And I want to pause it and part of this video here. Let me pull this video. Okay.
It's an everyday battle.
This is a massive problem that we have, not just in California, but our entire country.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, dozens of missing children from all across Southern California are safe tonight after what authorities say was a major crackdown in the fight against human trafficking. We learned all of the children have ties to Riverside County. NBC4's Christian Casada spoke with the sheriff about the rescues and how the public's help can really make a difference.
That's right. Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco tells us this was a week-long operation called Safe Return, where he says it was both federal and state partners coming together because, according to the sheriff, he says this operation was just too big.
Wait a minute. I'm pausing it right here on purpose. It was too big. How did it get so big in a county that he oversees?
Right.
That ticks me off. And here we have this guy running for governor, and he hasn't done anything, so he had to call bigger authorities. No, I do not. I do not buy that whatsoever.
Yeah,
he let it get out of control, folks. This is terrible. All right, I want to let this play on.
In the end, it came down to we knew that we had to get help because we didn't have enough personnel to hit this many locations at the same time all throughout Southern California. All of the kids had something to do with Riverside County. They were missing from Riverside County.
More than 50 missing minors were identified and 37 of them were rescued. 10 people were arrested. And according to the sheriff, there are no pictures, no video of this operation because of the sensitivity of the crime. But the sheriff tells me that all of these missing children, they were found in Northern California, Nevada, and Arizona.
So the way human trafficking works and why we're unique is, I don't want to say it's easy to locate in other places, but in the prostitution realm, in the human trafficking, the sex trafficking realm, there are things called blades. And a blade is like Figueroa Street in Los Angeles. We don't have one. So that's what makes it unique for us. We don't have one of those locations. Our sex trafficking is through hotels or events or things like that, apps online.
On average, the department says about 6,000 children in the county go missing every year. The majority of them return home safe. Even those connected to human trafficking cases, according to the sheriff, all thanks to the public's help.
We want license plate numbers. We want descriptions. If you can take pictures, we want pictures. And we follow up on every lead because you never know what we're going to find.
We should mention Chad Bianco is among the list of candidates running for the California governor's race. And if elected, he says many things will change, but top priority will be public safety.
We're straddled with regulation, taxes, highest cost of living, groceries. I have employees that have to call in sick because they can't afford gas to come to work. There's something seriously wrong with that. So public safety has to be number one. We have to hold criminals accountable.
In Riverside, Christian Casada, NBC4 News.
So my question to the audience is, how long has he known about this? How did it get too big for him to handle?
Right.
These are honest questions here. I'm not buying the whole darn thing. I'm very disappointed why it got so big.
But for all the moms out there that are getting their kids back today, oh my gosh, or back then, whatever day it was, that's a blessing to have them home.
Absolutely,
that is the best thing.
So
I can't imagine how terrible it would be to not know what happened to your child. That would be like the worst fear, the biggest fear ever.
I mean, it was what year is this? 12 years ago, I was working on adopting, going through the procedures of adopting my belated friend's daughter, and things got turned into a mess. So I had to back away from the case. There's some weird things that were tossed around in court. It ended up the child ended up being in foster care. So still concerned and worried, but really couldn't make contact because of certain things that were said. There's false accusations that were made, and it made me look
do
like
that on purpose.
Yeah, I know.
They do it on purpose.
There's a temporary guardian that just did wrong, not just for myself, but also for the child too. Said child at the time.
The children should be placed with someone they know and with people that they love, if at all possible, right?
Well, I mean, the child was placed, with a temporary guardian who, the child did know at the time. But unfortunately, it wasn't the best of situations. I'll put it that way.
Gotcha.
The child had lice in their hair for more than 6 months.
Oh God.
I'm not gonna name names or anything like that because I don't want to embarrass anybody or be slandered again. That was absolutely
Right.
terrible. But anyways,
That is
but the child is adult age now, but she has a good level head on her shoulders, and
thank God.
we've made connection again, and everything's great. So to all the parents out there that have to worry about their missing children, and
I can imagine.
And I'm very disappointed on how late this information not just came out, but also how late things had to take to move forward on saving these children.
Right.
I mean, it shouldn't have ended up with that many to begin with.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, there's certain good things, Mr. Bianco said.
True.
Get photos over to the sheriff's office or the police department or so on and so forth.
Right.
Send them out to both, in case, one's involved and one's not. There's corrupt people in this world. So definitely share it out and about. But
wait, Tim, did you just say there's corrupt people in this world? Oh my God, you gotta be kidding me.
I'm shocking people.
Right. I mean, just fell out of our chair.
But it's just, the whole point is why did it take so long for these?
Yeah, no, I agree.
For one child to get rescued, let alone 50.
Right. Yeah. And the misinformation around it. Mm-hmm.
And this guy's running for governor and trying to take claim over this whole thing, where he had to actually call for help. He had to call the bigger bosses. I mean, the U.S. Marshals is not, supersedes the sheriffs. I'm sorry.
Right.
But it does. It does completely.
That's
hey,
insane.
Z Diane, I see you out there in the chat. How you doing tonight? Great to have you on board here. And so once again, people like, share, and follow. It's at Tim Holliday TV. That's TIMHOLLIDAY TV. No spaces. This is out on Rumble, YouTube, Spotify. Well, it'll be on Spotify in a little
all
bit.
The above.
on all your major platforms. I'll just put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm being suppressed on social media, so if everyone can share. I tried sharing out a show for one of my friends, and on a pop-up graphic of his, Mr. Pastor Jerry R. Cook with Politics in the Pulpit. He's broadcasting out of Southern California, KHTS.
We love Pastor Jerry. Mm-hmm.
He's on every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific. He's, Politics in the Pulpit. It is a show. And, I tried sharing it out yesterday, and Facebook put the brakes on me. I was only able to share out to just a few groups. And it's very unfortunate.
Pastor Jerry is like legit. I mean, why would they ban you with Pastor Jerry? Right? I love him.
Well, I mean,
such a great.
Oh, wonderful person to work with. Good friend.
He's wonderful.
I appreciate everything he's doing. I'm really glad to help him out. I've been helping him. And I actually went to one of his Christmas sermons a few years back, and it's just wonderful sermon there at Freedom's Way Baptist Church. So go ahead and look that up. Anybody down in Santa Clarita Valley, check out the Freedom's Way Baptist Church.
Yep, get there.
I was actually trying to pull Jerry in to be a guest tonight as well, and he has some other obligations to tend to as well. So, we try.
I was almost late today, Tim, because on my way home from work, I pulled out of the street and I made a right, and I saw a huge amount of black smoke shooting up in the air, and I'm thinking, what the hell's happening? Dang. So there was it was just a bunch of dry brush everywhere, and it was a huge fire. And I waited there after I called 911. I waited to see how long it would take to get there because I was worried they wouldn't show up after our last fire. And they finally did get there about maybe 15 minutes later. It was one truck, but the water droppers got in really fast.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
I'm really glad that the taxpayers are actually, or the tax dollars are actually doing some of their
working.
Just hopefully the roads were okay so they could get into it, without all that money. You see Gavin Newsom, that weird shoulder bounce he has. It's like he's driving on a California road.
Right. He's going over some speed bumps, or he's off-roading. I don't know.
Right.
You're right. He does do that. Sometimes I just think there's something wrong with them. Like maybe he has Tourette. I don't know. Something's wrong.
No. I mean, I think he's some of it's induced. One of the little terms I heard was he's had a little bit of a booger sugar.
Oh yeah, we did hear that before, but I don't know. I can't say. We don't know. But yeah. Oh, that's funny.
So, see, I have a question here in the chat. So, Tim and Tanya want Steve Hilton as governor? No, not me personally. That's me and my personal opinion. This does not reflect everybody of those on Tim Holliday TV or any of the associates thereof. This is just my opinion. Now, out of yeah,
I want Pastor Jerry. I want Pastor Jerry for governor.
I could see the crowd in the background. Jerry.
I would love to see him do it. He's such hilarious. A great person.
Oh, he's
smart. Wonderful. Yeah, he's intelligent. He's smart.
Yes.
You know,
and very a good witty sense of humor too. I definitely appreciate the humor he has as well.
He's not your average pastor, right? He's definitely.
Oh, no, if you get to know pastors and certain people, some of them have a really great sense of humor. It's wonderful to get to know them. So so who my pick is the only person who's been talking about the Constitution and how to use the Constitution to bring the state back. So for those of you who are just blindly following these polls or whatever they're throwing out there, and CNN for a debate, I would have declined. And hey, bring me onto a different news channel. Bring me on the Right Side News broadcast, or bring me on
RSBN. I'm down.
Yeah. Or bring me on what's that other one? ONN.
News. Oh, okay. Yeah, Newsmax is too.
Newsmax. Yeah, bring me on to any of these other ones. Again, this is something that Trump did as well during his candidacy, as he went on CNN.
Mm-hmm.
I would not go on to something that's so non-biased, and it has been non-biased for years.
Right.
Yeah, Did you try to meet in the middle somewhere? And when it came to the 2020 political debate, I was tuned in on to two different what's considered right-wing political stations, and one of them is so non-biased. It was just like, wait a minute, are they like cheering for the other? I'm not quite sure. I'm not following. Here I am, all gung-ho on 2020 for the president that we currently have, and I'm just like, but wait a minute. So I'm listening a little further, and it's just like, well, they're just doing non-biased reporting. So it was One American News Network is what I
okay.
So that's what I was watching on the 2020 debate, and then we saw that whole overnight thing going.
Yeah, that's how it usually goes.
Yeah, ridiculous. So it was wonderful to see that meme that said fraud.
Yeah, right.
These voting machines are just absolutely ridiculous. On my show that I had on Tuesday with Cam DeGreat and as well as Matt, we were talking about the FCC Act 1996 passed by Bill Clinton. I went ahead and dropped it into the comments. So I'm going to drop it in the comments in tonight's show as well.
Okay.
Does it suppress people in Hollywood? Is ultimately what my question is.
People in Hollywood. Who was the guy that just shot somebody on the set? They had a real gun on the set, and he didn't.
Oh gosh.
What's his name? The actor. I think it was his name.
There's a lot of jokes about this. Was it a Baldwin? Was it Alec? Yeah, I think it was Alec Baldwin.
Okay.
And again, a lot of bad jokes about it because he was doing bad impersonations of Trump, and he.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, it was. I thought you're not allowed to have a real gun on the set, but I guess. Well, I don't know how'd they get killed if it's not real. Somebody just said it wasn't real. How'd you get killed?
Yeah, but I mean, what happened to Bruce Lee? I mean, yeah, I'm just gonna put that out there too.
Yeah, right.
Bruce Lee was shot on a movie set as well. I think a lot of things have changed in between the Bruce Lee and Alec Baldwin situation.
Oh yeah, for sure. Did you hear that Tucker Carlson? I saw something about the 2028 presidential run.
Oh,
I saw that today. Yes.
Oh, tell us more.
That's all I got so far.
Well, then, audience, if you see something, leave a comment, and I will find it. I don't care where you.
Yeah, let us know.
As long as it's on one of the Tim Holliday TV channels, I definitely want to know a little bit more about this, because I don't watch TV, I don't watch the news or any of that. I get most of my information from friends and some from social media. I got to pull the weeds to find out what's true and what's not true, like I did earlier today with that that whole thing with the U.S. Marshals, finding 50 missing children, it took a little digging, and it took a question from a fellow patriot. And it's like, well, let me look this up. Let's see. I mean, the video did look sketchy, so I'll just state that again.
Yeah. And how come I live in LA area and I never saw anything about any of these missing kids? Like, I would have thought it'd be plastered everywhere.
Yeah, it should have been. These are important issues. We talked about that on the show that we had with Roland Cerna. Let me find the date on that too.
Yeah, that was recently.
Yeah, within the last month, but I want to find an exact date for the audience. In fact, you know what? I'll put it in the chat where we had that actual show. The date that we had the actual show. Where art thou? There we are.
I remember traveling to Arkansas from California, and as we were driving through, there was big signs that said stuff about sex trafficking, keep your kid, like billboards on the side of the highway. And I'm thinking, geez, are you kidding me? Like, in different states, not here, obviously, but some of the states we went through, like New Mexico or Arizona, whatever it was, I think it was the 40 we took.
Yeah.
And it is crazy how they have advertisements up everywhere about it. Beware of trafficking, this and that. Watch your kid. I don't know. You should always watch your kids anyway, but I mean, like, keep a close eye. And again, what we learned from Epstein stuff is that it's the women that will go out and try to get the girls. It's not usually men. It's usually someone that they think they can trust.
Yeah.
So you got to always be cautious, right?
Yeah.
Always be cautious.
Yeah. Always know your surroundings. Be cautious. Someone weird starts approaching. Definitely, get the kids behind you. Hey, kids, where are you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I even watch out for other people's. Like, if I see something that doesn't look legit, like I will literally stop and be like, do you know this person? I'll ask them.
Yeah.
And, I mean, just because I'm afraid that what if they don't?
Right.
God forbid. I'd rather look stupid asking than not asking. Much safer.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So the other interesting thing on that article, Tim, was that they said it was 37 kids that they found, but then later on it was 50 kids, right? In the article that we saw.
Oh, so in the post that I had, it said 37, and at the very beginning of the U.S. Marshals article, it said 37, and then you read further on in the article, then it turns into 50. I wonder if that 37 are just Californians and the remainder are from out of state.
Oh, it could be.
That's what my best guess is at the current moment.
Just grateful that they are home safe. I'm hoping right now.
Yeah,
I'm hoping they're all home safe.
Oh my gosh, I can just imagine the hugs on some of these parents. And
oh
kids.
God, it would be devastating. That would be devastating.
Goodness. Oh, but the cries of joy getting your child back after that, and then the therapy that the child has to go through, and also the parent, because they now have a different child, especially if there's some sort of a exploitation that has happened or occurred.
Okay, wait, I have a really bizarre story. When my daughter was in kindergarten, we would watch America's Most Wanted or whatever that show was with the missing kids. What was it? Was it America's Most Wanted?
Not America's Most Wanted. Wait, was it?
It was with Adam Walsh, the dad.
John
Walsh, right?
John Walsh.
Okay.
That's it. Yeah.
So we're watching that, and there was a little girl that was in my daughter's class at school in kindergarten, and we saw her on the thing, on the broadcast. So of course we're like, oh my God, we know who this person is. She's here.
That's crazy.
It was a parental abduction. Well, luckily I would prefer it be a parental than a non, someone that doesn't know him. I guess I would prefer that. I don't know. I'd prefer none of it really, but anyway, she was safe and found and everything worked out, but it was pretty crazy to see somebody that you actually saw, you know what I mean? From TV. I'm like, wait, she's in your class.
When I was, I think I was in middle school, maybe high school, there was an abduction and raping murder kind of situation that went on in my hometown. This is a guy who was just a few years older than I am, and Gus Marlowe is the guy's name. And the newspaper in that town, they actually released the name of a suspect who wasn't actually the convicted killer, and
oh God,
gave the address of the supposed person's address,
home address
and stuff in the newspaper. There's a bunch of vigilantes that went there. They burned part of the house.
Oh,
the newspaper got sued by All Right and lost that lawsuit. Thank God.
Yeah. Yeah, they should have.
Yeah, I'm not going to name towns or anything like that or newspaper names. I don't want to get turned around and get sued for that either. This happened a number of years ago.
Right.
Like I said, I was still a minor at the time.
Right.
But yeah, it's, very interesting. And then that guy Gus Marlowe, he had ended up raping, murdering, and escaping prison. He raped and murdered a prison guard, a female prison guard. Really? This guy is just something awful.
Well, that's one that we don't need to waste any space for, so we could just go ahead and handle things.
Yeah, I mean, bring back capital punishment. I'm not I'm not trying to encourage murder or take over the world or anything like that. No. But our
we deserve justice. The families deserve justice.
Our judicial system has been slipping away over the years more and more and more. It's been a terrible situation. Absolutely.
Right.
I mean, you get these people, getting away with a lot of different things. It's just truly disgusting. And that, didn't we hear that, women are actually abducting these kids and then sending them out to other areas,
right,
for these, exploitation situations. When I was, I remember I lived in Shasta County for a few months, and this is in the mid 90s, I believe. And then after I got back to my hometown area, I was looking up on the Megan's Law. I think it's Megan's Law.
It is Megan's Law.
Megan'sLaw.org, and that's shows the registered sex offenders in the state of California. I was browsing around the area I was living at when I was in Redding. You wouldn't believe there was like more female offenders than there were male.
That is wild.
I was very, very, very shocked.
Crazy. Yeah, because here, like by me, it's all male usually. Typically they're much older. And I don't know that I've ever seen any of them around town. And I'm always out and about, but I don't think I've ever really seen any of them, at the grocery store or something, let's say. But I do pay really close attention to the kids that are in our neighborhood. And we don't have a lot. We do have a few. And I definitely pay attention. And we put like signs at the front of the street, like, when the kids are out playing, we just put something up so people don't come ripping down the street. But now that we have littler kids that are riding bikes and doing things like you should do, right? So you got to pay attention.
Oh, absolutely.
But we're very cautious of all the kids. Everybody is.
Yeah. Well, there's kids in my neighborhood, and I'm, very, mindful and, keeping a very close eye out on those kids to make sure, it was about a year ago, there was, somebody sound like they're harassing the dogs down the street. So, I took a look out, and there's some guy without a shirt, punching his fist up in the air, screaming obscenities. And then he made eye contact. He made eye contact with you. I'm like, oh, no, not right now, man. I'm not. You're not ready for this. I'll just put it that way. He's not ready for what I have in store for him, because I definitely have some excessive force with me.
Right
there. But I mean, he got probably about 4.5 feet away from me, and right at that moment, the 2 cop cars came around the corner, and I'm like,
well, thank God.
Because I didn't want to have to clean up a mess that I didn't have any call for.
Yeah, you're like, how did you get blood off of my just kidding.
Well, yeah. Right? What was that one TV show? Dexter. I've seen enough of those to know better.
Dexter was a very bizarre show.
It was bizarre, but it had a lot of little information in there. If you picked up on it, you picked up on it.
Right. Well, his was just street justice, right? Usually,
well, Dexter was about. Yeah, I believe Dexter was like a vigilante. Basically, with right just. I'm not promoting being a vigilante, like I just mentioned that whole newspaper thing and a bunch of vigilants burned down that guy's house, innocent guy's house. But
burning down the wrong person's house is bad. Okay.
Right. Then we go.
Real bad.
Goodness. But yeah, I remember seeing the side of that house. But anyways, so you pick up enough on some of these TV shows. It gives you enough information how to handle things, I suppose. Again, but I'm keeping an eye on the kids. I got some elderly over on another corner, and then
we keep an eye on everybody here too. Yeah, that's how we roll.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And you live in an area to where it's kind of a close knit community, and just as
Oh, yeah, very much.
I'm in a
Very.
close knit area, people knowing people, and but I mean,
Mhm.
one of the biggest problems there in California is everybody is buried into their social media. They
Yeah.
don't
Everybody's
take
staring
time.
at a phone.
Yes, I'm staring at my phone right now. There's nothing on screen. I'm just giving an example that I'm not looking anywhere where I should be, but no one's
Right.
paying attention and getting to know their friends or neighbors, or chatting it up a little bit with the clerk at the retail store. Like this young man, I keep on picking on him because he forgot to put some things in the bag for me. So I had to, I get home. I'm like, where's my stuff, man?
And Tim, because you're in a wheelchair, it's not like it's going to take you 5 minutes to go back down there, right?
No,
I mean, it's going to be an ordeal, right?
I'm working on my arms. I don't have to just press a little gas pedal, just a tiny
I know,
bit.
right? So it's a little bit more effort than most people have to deal with. So that's
Yeah.
not cool. I would have
Right.
called him and said, you need to deliver it to me.
Well, I told him next time he owes me an extra something or another, as far as like, whatever I purchased at that time.
Right. Oh, I remember one time McDonald's asked me to pull forward. And when I pulled forward, they must have left me there for like 15, 20 minutes. And so I went inside and the lady's like, oh, we didn't get your order. And I'm like, no. I'm like, and you better give me some stuff for free while I'm waiting.
Right.
So the
Dang.
next time they asked me to pull forward, I said, no, thanks.
Good.
And the lady looked at me like, what? I wasn't a question. And I'm like, no,
Right.
thanks. I'll just stay here. Thanks. And she's like, all right, but I need you to pull forward. I'm like, why? If something's not ready, it's not going to be ready for anybody else behind me either.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, I refuse to do that anymore. They forget about you. I don't like it.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of waiting for 20 minutes for a drive-through,
Right. Right.
Yeah, it was just a coffee.
Coffee. Last time I had McDonald's coffee was like, what year is this?
I'm just kidding.
It was in 2006 was the last time I had McDonald's coffee, and it tasted like metallic cleaner. The smell of that spray metallic cleaner. You clean stainless steel countertops with or whatever. It tasted like the smell of that junk. And I'm just like, no more. I'm all right. I'm good.
It's like a lunch truck. The lunch truck coffee tastes like kerosene, I swear.
But I mean, I pretty well stopped all fast food altogether, except my friend from Fit Over Pharma, Frank Tortorici, fitoverpharma.com.
Oh, I love Frank. Yeah,
Frank
he's
is
great
amazing.
too.
But he actually has a bag of McDonald's that's been looking the same way for X amount of years. You'll have to check it out. Check out his page on Facebook, or you find him at fitoverpharma.com.
Yeah, you got to watch theirs. What is it? The Understood or the Overstood?
The Overstood Human Podcast. So check that out.
Yeah, they're great.
On X, Rumble, YouTube, and Spotify. That's where they're all broadcasting.
Is it Dr. Sarah? No.
Yeah, Dr. Sarah Green and Frank Tortorici.
Yeah, they're great. Very,
awesome.
very.
Yeah, in fact, we've had them on this show a couple of times. I've had Frank on twice already, and I've had Sarah on. In fact, I
very
will drop
informative.
that. Let's see here. Where are they? Where art thou? I tried getting them both on. I'm looking onto my Rumble channel right now, and I'm like, where did that show go?
Yeah.
But yeah, again, a wonderful team. Breaking Ways to Break from the Matrix. That was a part 2 because I had Frank on the first one. There it is.
Right.
I found it.
It was pretty good, I thought.
Yeah. Yeah. Very informative. In fact, recently, Dr. Sarah Green has opened up a treatment center to help out with those that are suffering for the C word, as we like to know it as, the dirty C word, which is cancer.
Yeah.
So,
is she using alternative medicine?
I believe she is. So you can find out a little bit more information. HolisticSarahPA.com, I believe is her website.
She's very smart.
So this Sarah is spelled with an H at the end. So HolisticSarahPA.com. Yeah, Sarah's wonderful.
I'm glad to see that she's doing that because we need it. We really need that.
Absolutely, absolutely. So it's really good to hear the Overstood Human podcast on the actually let me find their Rumble channel as well, and I'll share that.
Yeah, they're great people there.
Absolutely. And honest people as well. I mean, they did this.
Yeah.
They did this one episode that really stuck out to me, is on how they were the Super Bowl advertisement, the that show that they do in the middle of the Super Bowl
halftime. I have to.
Yeah, the whole Bad Bunny thing, and then the Turning Point USA show, the anti Bad Bunny show,
Right.
or the
That was
anti
crazy.
Super Bowl show. But I mean, it's basically as a way to distract everybody from what's really going on in our country.
Right. Smoke and mirrors.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's all smoke and mirrors.
Yeah.
Like the guy at the Charlie Kirk shooting, which was the guy with his pants around his ankles screaming, "I did it." Like, who
I
does
remember that. Yeah. Yeah.
That's just crazy. Like, how does that even happen? And
right.
They paved over the thing like the next day. I mean, there's like a lot of crazy stuff on that too.
Oh gosh, I would really like to know, where's Charlie's parents? I mean, God bless them. You know, I feel deeply for them. Yeah, I believe Charlie was a great guy. I wasn't following him, but I'd see the reels come up, and the guy made a lot of sense, common sense.
Yeah.
And he just wanted dialogue, and he had really good talking points. He knew how to talk. He knew how to debate. That's for
He was
certain.
very smart, extremely smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
and you know what? I like to see every side of a situation before I make a decision, right?
Yes.
Something that Frank from the Overstood podcast, he talks about it all the time. You get all the facts first, and you make sure there's facts in there, you know, make sure there's stuff that's verifiable, and you start there, and then you make your decision. You know, you got to have some logic along the way, right?
Absolutely.
It's got to be logical. It can't just be somebody says this happened and you're supposed to believe it, because that's not how I work.
Right. So I want to bring up a little thing of truth here. We all know, or if you hadn't heard yet, it was late last year, before autumn, I believe, last year, that I heard that the penny is going away. Our little copper pennies.
I've heard that. Yeah, I've heard that.
Well, let's connect a little dot here too. I mean, you've heard recently of all these data centers coming up. You know how much copper is going into a data center?
Mm-mm.
A lot of copper is going into the data centers.
Oh.
Now, there's a lot of protests against these data centers because they do let out a lot of emissions and pollutants and stuff. It's not good for rivers, lakes, streams, so on and so forth. The air is not good for that as well. I saw these like people generators being cranked up in the morning to get these data centers up and running first thing in the morning. It's like, shoot, forget the coffee, forget anything else, because you're going to pass out if you're going to, be next to one of these centers. I mean, I even saw, Lake of the Ozarks, they're, protesting. Over in South Silicon Valley, they're protesting against these things. And why do we need all these data centers?
I don't.
So, I mean, all these data centers. Okay, so digital currency, could that be one of the things?
Yeah, maybe.
I noticed
the penny. They said the penny, it cost them more to make the pennies than they actually are worth, so that's why they wanted to go do away with them.
Correct.
The only place that I've had it happen was at the grocery store when they went to give me my change back. They rounded off because they don't use pennies anymore, she said. And it's always in the customer's favor. And I thought, well, that's really weird. Nobody else is doing it yet.
There's some areas that are doing the opposite. That's in the retailers or the sellers' favor. So make sure that they don't do that to you all.
Yeah, right. But that's not
again. This is my little conspiracy about it. Is that the copper that they're saving from not producing pennies is going toward these data centers.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
Keep your eyes open, folks. Connect some dots. Don't cross your eyes.
Yeah, right. You got to get it all the facts.
Yeah,
and save some of your pennies because they could be valuable later on, right?
I was joking. I was at the bank about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I was joking with one of the clerks behind the counter. It's like, I knew last year I should have bought a few rolls of pennies. Yeah, because you can't. They're getting harder and harder to find in the banks.
Right.
If you get some in your change, definitely set them aside. I have a small little container of that, and so I was being asked about Dr. Sarah Green's website. So I went I put that in the chat there, and I'll put Frank Tortorici's website in there as well. So it's holisticsarahpa.com. So that's HOLISTICPE. Let me spell that again.
SARAHPA. Is that right? .com.
So HOLISTICSARAHPA.com. Holistic Sarah. And then let me find Frank's website here. Let me drop that in the comment. Yeah, Frank is
she was really fighting the fight during COVID, trying to keep people alive, and she was doing everything humanly possible to save people against, they weren't allowing her to prescribe stuff, and she went to find an alternate method to get it done, right?
Yeah.
She did a great job. And now she's fighting the big C. Oh, wow.
Yeah. She's doing great.
I'm glad to see somebody's doing something about it.
Right.
Because I feel like we're not. I feel like we don't care. I mean, it's
we should
ridiculous.
be caring about this stuff. And I know some of it. So I'm not a doctor. I'm by all means, I'm not giving medical advice. So we are not giving medical advice of any sort. We're just
we're not. No. We're just being normal people looking at the situation going, how could we not have a cure in the last however many years that this has been around?
And I met Frank on a different podcast that I was helping host and produce and edit and all that fun stuff. I do a lot of things in the background. I was shocked one of my Patriot friends a couple of days ago. I'm saying, yeah, I'm producer of this. And they're like, huh? And I'm like, yeah, my voice is at the end of such and such. And they're like, really?
You crack me up.
I
shock a lot of people. It's fun. But yeah, check out Frank's website there too. That's Fit Over Pharma. So that's a FITOVERPHARMA.com. So yeah, definitely worth checking into what Frank has to offer there.
He's got a great story too. Great story, huh?
Yeah. He's
how he healed himself. Yeah.
So not completely healed, but he's definitely tamed the beast. So it was he's a few years younger than I am, but it was very shortly after, I believe on the same day when he received a vaccine, he obtained something better known as Tourette syndrome. So he's definitely tamed it through some of his own studies and methods.
Working out, exercise.
So being fit is a very important one because that helps build up some of your own body's natural endorphins, things that the brain needs to function proper. And Frank, definitely a genuine man. And
he's great.
We need more Franks in this world, and Sarah's for that matter, and Tanya's for that matter, and
Tim's for that matter.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, she's done a great job too, helping tons of people, and so has Frank, because he's he's working with people on their own ailments, whatever it is, something out of the norm, and he's shown them by eating right and by exercising that you can actually without taking a bunch of medicines, right? Without diving into pharma. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he's walked away from pharma. He's started using
awesome.
Diet, exercise. He's big on the cold plunge. I'm not.
I would never want to do that. Never.
But I mean, it does help. Out of all honesty, I've been hearing about this since the 90s as far as using hot, cold. And there's this argument between PAs and MAs and physical therapists, occupational therapists, all these different letters that I've seen hundreds of doctors and whatever. Anyways, I've been hearing the whole rhetoric for a lot of many of years. So he's not off at all as far as what he's doing. So again,
no, it's actually very smart. It's very smart.
So speaking about another amazing person, so it was exactly a year ago to today's date. I had a wonderful guest on, Chelsea Knight. Chelsea Knight, what she did, it was about a year and a week ago to today's date, is she had adopted someone, and this is goes along with Mother's Day here. We actually had a Mother's Day show, so she's an amazing person and also an amazing mom too. She's a friend of mine, so I want to give a shout out to Chelsea. She's again a true patriot and a wonderful human being for doing what she's doing. And I know
Spitfire is an amazing
Spitfire as well, absolutely. So
and her husband, boom. Oh my gosh, they have been
heart of gold, both of them.
Yeah, they brought in children, tons of children.
Yes,
and gave them a really good life, and they've surrounded them with love, and it's just a beautiful story.
Absolutely. Yes, I was able to hear that. I actually heard it from Boom, and wow, just hearts of gold right there. I mean,
Yep,
these are the
very good.
people that the world needs more of.
Yeah, true.
Absolutely.
Grateful to know them. Grateful to know them, right?
Yes, yes. And in fact, I've
Very
I'm on the phone on a regular with Spitfire. You know, she's actually helps out with some of the background stuff here on the show here, Patriots III.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've had Boom on a couple of times, and yeah, Boom's been on the trucker show a couple of times because I believe that's his occupation. And you know, the other gentleman that I had on the trucker show is otherwise known as California Smooth. I talked with him yesterday, actually. He's one of my friends for that.
Is that Preston? Is his name Preston?
Is. Yes, it is. So yeah, I had a good conversation with Mr. Preston. Yeah, I've known Preston since more years than I can count.
Yeah, he was a good guy, very good guy.
Oh, absolutely. You know, always wonderful to hear from Mr. Preston there. So
yeah, he's great. He's really, really great.
Yeah,
well, we learn a lot from these people that are on the show, right?
Yeah.
Tim, I've learned so much we've had so many guests on the show, and I've learned, gosh, an astronomical amount of information just from them alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
But something that Frank always says that I really appreciate and love the most is everybody needs to take all the information first. You got to take it all, and you got to figure out, you know, some kind of facts among it, and then try to figure out what the truth is,
right?
Which is not easy. They don't make it easy.
So at the beginning of this, podcast, where we played Mr. Bianco's statement there that it got too big. I have an honest question: why did it take so long?
Right. Why didn't you call someone sooner?
As an uncle, I don't have any kids of my own, but as an uncle, why did it take them so? And I want to cuss right now. I'm trying to keep my cool. Why did it take so long?
Mom, and I would be pissed. I'm telling you, I'd be pissed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would want someone to be accountable.
And this guy is trying to use it as a political ladder, saying, "Oh yeah, I had great involvement on this." No, the U.S. Marshal, you had to call for the big guns.
Backup. You had to call for backup.
Yeah. So it's just very frustrating, and the question, I'm not in favor of either of the two leading Republican candidates.
I hear you.
And I keep sidestepping on the name who's been mentioning the Constitution and constitutional codes, both the United States as well as California Constitution. Mr. Daniel Mercury, I want to give him a shout out. I've noticed him in the beginning part of 2021 during the Recall Gavin 2020 movement, and I've been paying attention to Daniel Mercury for since then. He is wanting to fight for the people. And
I like that.
Said, find his website. I can probably look it up and put it in the comments, but that's the guy I'm rooting for. I don't even.
Does he have a chance right now? Tim, does he have a chance?
So I believe it's Daniel Mercury and Lewis Herms are in the top of the no party preference list. But as far as overall, California is completely blind, and they're like sheep right now. And I will say that out loud. And I am very disappointed in the California people that are just not paying attention. I'm not disappointed with you, Tanya, and I'm not.
No, I know you love me, Tim.
Hey, you're my Valentine.
No, but I can't lead everybody a certain direction, but we certainly can show what this candidate is about, right?
Right.
We can show.
I mean, let me find Daniel's.
It'd be great for people to see what he's about.
Yeah.
Remember when was it Ross Perot that had ran for president many years back? And there's been a lot of people. Yeah, there's a lot of people like that. So it's kind of good to bring out a no name, maybe that somebody's not aware of, or
right.
Yeah. I tend to lean away from career politicians personally because I'm not a fan. They've never really seemed to do much to help us around here, but who knows? Yeah. And the lady that was running, remember we had Pastor Terry was on the show. We had a little clip of her where she's.
Oh my gosh, Katie Porter. Oh my Lord, no.
She's using the F word, cussing out her staff or whoever. And I'm thinking, wow, she's patient.
She's an abusive person.
We really need.
She's an abusive person. I would not have her.
I mean, do you need to be that way in politics? I don't really think so. I think you get more with sugar than you do with salt usually.
Right.
But you have to be a good negotiator. You have to be smart and see what's important.
Well,
attract
more flies to stuff if you know what I'm saying.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Versus. Anyways, yeah. Use a little sweetness. She's not dead. She's
Yeah.
definitely not a sweetheart. I'll tell you that. And
No,
I don't
it's
think
far
that
from
kind of.
it.
And I don't think that kind of attitude will get the job done.
No, she's
So for those that are watching, if you hadn't seen that little Katie Porter abusive video to one of her staff members, one of her staff members, came up behind her, and she, the staff member behind, who happened to be a young lady, I believe, was correcting Katie Porter on something. Katie Porter, get the F out of my shot, is basically what she was saying. And she used actually the full F word versus me, paraphrasing here. I'm trying to be polite.
I would consider that a hostile work environment.
Absolutely.
Nobody should have to work with somebody like that. That's that insane.
Right. So going on a slightly different direction, because California was on this extreme lockdown, and if you all don't vote for the right person, you're all going to be on lockdown again.
Right.
About this new virus that was found on some cruise ship.
The Hana virus, right?
Yeah, like the Hana what? Who the huh?
The Hana virus.
Anyways,
same way COVID came in.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, on the cruise ships,
But I mean, I believe again, this is another like scare tactic of sorts. Yeah, I'm not falling for it. They had what, monkeypox and who knows what else. Zika.
Now we have an Ebola or something equal, whatever it is, some other outbreak right now. There's always one.
I mean, it sounds like a bad throat lozenger commercial. Ebola. Yes, it's just this world is so upside down right now, and people need to just start paying better attention.
Pray. Let's just pray, people.
Yeah, so I've had some nurses on this broadcast, from the nurses report. That's part of AmericaOutloud.news. So I've had Nurse Nicole, I've had Nurse Ashley Grogg, I've had Nurse David Wayne, I've had Nurse Kimberly Overton.
They're all wonderful people.
I'll be getting in touch with Nurse Kimberly. Oh gosh, I always forget.
Remnant.
No, I'm forgetting her name right now. I'm drawing a blank. I can see her face.
Ashley Nicole.
I've worked with so many people. Anyways, so hopefully I'll have one of the other nurses on in the future. So
that'd be great.
We have something cooked up really well in our minds. And of course, Spitfire is going to try to throw me under the bus. So I hope Spitfire's in the comments on that one. Recently we had an attorney on the show, Brad Dacus. I talked to one of my friends, and like, why don't you have Brad on your show? So I went ahead and reached out to Brad's office and had a wonderful show. What was he covering over 130 cases in 37 states in the United States? Protecting children, religion, and schools, Christian schools as well. So he's Brad Dacus and his team at Pacific Justice Institute. That's PJI.org. Incredible. Definitely.
They are doing great work.
Take a look at that show. We've had Mr. LW, Dan Wilson, a J6er, who didn't even, he stepped foot inside the Capitol, but yet he got locked up. Can you believe that?
Crazy? That's our criminal injustice system hard at work. Yes. I told you.
Yeah.
Any person, I don't even care if it's one person that is wrongly in prison. That's one too many. I mean, honestly, to have your freedom taken away like that, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You better be. And then the other flip side is the one that actually is the criminal is still walking around free to continue doing what they do. Yeah. Right. So we have to be smarter.
Right. So, poor LW, he was.
Yeah, that's bad.
In jail twice. He was not pardoned just once, but he was pardoned twice.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the truth here.
Yeah, that's crazy, right?
Yeah. And so, he was on the November 14th show.
Yeah.
Walking out the doors of that prison.
He never even stepped foot in the building, right?
No.
He never even stepped foot into it. Yet he gets arrested. How does that make sense?
Make it make sense, please, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Anybody got one for me here? How do I make this make sense? I'm a fan of logic.
Again, audience, we're welcome to all the comments you all have.
Yeah.
I'll look at them and I will,
Yeah.
talk to my team and say, hey, what do you all think about this one?
Yeah.
And
I like it.
And there's usually some way I can find a pretty good answer for it. So,
Right. Whether we agree or disagree, we want to still have the flip side of it, right?
exactly,
Always.
exactly.
That's important.
Gosh, how come I can't remember that one nurse's name? I'm like, she lives down in Tennessee. It's just a few hours away from me.
Because you've dealt with so many, Tim. You've dealt with like a ton of them.
The blockage.
Yep.
No more doctors. No more. I'm kidding. I've seen hundreds of doctors and interns and PAs.
It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot.
ODs, the doctors of they check on your heart and your blood more and your bones.
Right.
I forget what OD stands for, but yeah. So when you get to seeing doctors for as many years as I have, and I was just 4 years old when I started seeing some of the big name or the specialty doctors, they're calling them today.
Right.
It was just like, yeah, whatever. What's next?
Yeah, right. Are you gonna fix me, man? Because I'm tired of coming to the doctors, right?
Nah,
like, what the hell?
No one's looking
I know
for the right answers when it comes to my case and situation. So obviously have a high interest in the medical community.
Because of your own experience, Tim.
Even more so in the holistic, because your common allopathic medicine, your ABC doctors, MDs, and all these specialists, they ain't doing a darn thing. They're just giving me stuff that gives me more problems. And that's what's happened to me personally. I mean,
side effects. Yep.
It was about 18 years ago. They tried putting me on a beta blocker for my heart. There's nothing
and that
wrong
was
with my
because
heart.
You couldn't walk. You're like, wait, I am having trouble walking. I'm not having trouble breathing. Or
yes, and my heart felt like it's just crazy palpitations and whatnot.
Poor thing.
Like, oh, yeah, we're gonna put you on this pill. I took one pill. It felt like my heart was gonna pound out of my chest and then stop, and then pound out of my chest and stop. I'm just like,
and how old were you, Tim? How old were you?
This was, I don't. How old am I right now? That's a trick question. Ladies and gentlemen, if you know how old I am, leave it in the comments, because people do not believe when I say it. I'm not going to say it on air right now. We're going to leave this as one of the fun questions for the night, as we have like 3 minutes left in tonight's show. Yeah. So if you know the answer here, Tanya, do not say.
I do, but I'm not going to say.
All right. I appreciate that. I won't say your age either. I won't say. Okay.
Okay. Good thing. We crack me up. Again, we should say shout out to all the amazing moms out there.
Absolutely.
Oh, I hope they get wined and dined and everybody just, does everything.
Buy your mom flowers, buy your mom, candles,
card.
Her favorite perfume.
Make her a card. If you don't have money, make her a card. Pick a flower if you don't have money for flowers.
Make her dinner.
Clean the house, do the laundry, do something to help.
Well, wait, we don't want her going into a heart attack now.
Yeah, she may start thinking, what the hell's wrong with this family of mine?
Love your mama.
They just watched the podcast and now look, they're cleaning my house.
So, thank Tim Holliday TV moms.
I love that. Yeah, it's all thanks to us. Thank you. You're welcome.
And guess what, everyone? We would not be here on this planet if it wasn't for our moms.
Right? Yes. Be grateful. Be very grateful.
And if you have the opportunity to be a mom, definitely do that. Look at all the options of keeping your child. I'm a firm believer of maintaining life versus not. I'm just going to put that out there personally.
Yeah.
And I want to end this show on that note.
Okay. Good idea.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. You have yourself a wonderful evening, and God bless.
Good night.
Shut the damn window.